Hi, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast with myself, Jules, and Al. This is the first interview of our open day that we've got at the Parade Studios. And today, first up, we're talking to Tom Corbett, Wargames. Tom, tell us a bit more, please.
Hello. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm from Shrewsbury Wargames Society, which is one of the many different clubs we've got in Shrewsbury, but we focus on wargaming, which is the recreation of historical events, mostly in the past, but some bits of sci-fi, fantasy, bit of alternate history, all through little miniatures, all different scales. And actually in the Parade, there's a couple of miniature shops. Think Tank's a good example. And we've been in the club, we've been in Shrewsbury for 50 years. Last year was our 50th anniversary. And we've done many things all around the town. And when I saw that you were doing a shout out for groups to come on your podcast, I thought this would be a perfect thing just to show off, but not just ourselves, but a bit of the town's history as well. So thank you for having me.
So forgive me for being so vague, but a bit like a bigger version of Risk, right? Is that what we're talking about?
I think the best way to describe it is chess. So think of a chessboard with the pieces, and different pieces have different values. But rather than using a set board, though you can use hexes and other different methods, we use tape measures, we use dice, we use rule books. And it's the simulation of events through the rolling of dice with certain factors for what those figures might be or what those armies might be, all the way back from Roman Empire to present day and even future conflicts. And then, as I say, you've got sci-fi. So do you know the Warhammer shop in Shrewsbury, if you've ever walked past there?
Yeah.
That's a war game shop. That is wargaming. Games Workshop are the major UK, and actually it's another one of these sports / hobbies that the UK created. Hated roots are actually H.G. Wells and Little Wars.
Oh, wow.
Wrote,
okay.
War of the World. Very much that sort of late Victorian. So it's really, it's not a new thing. History of wargaming goes back really to 1860 and the Prussian Staff Corps. But it's really come to the fore as a hobby since H.G. Wells.
Fantastic. And you got in touch with us. How did you find out about the Shrewsbury Biscuit? Because we've got a few affiliates through town.
Oh, actually, because I'm a Shrewsbury Town supporter, and I'm aware that you did a bit of a thing with the Salopcast.
Yeah, with Glenn. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. So it's the other side, the hobby and the passion, and good luck Shrewsbury playing later today. But yeah, I've been aware of you anyway, seen your posters in town and the like, and it was just one of those things that we're doing a lot more to be, I think at the moment, certainly for all clubs. I don't think this is just wargaming. I think for all clubs and societies, given the situation and the COVID-related and the mental health that goes with it, I think we can play a great part in being activities for people. Some of our members are ex-servicemen, where you've got people who are using it as the Combat Stress Society. Wargaming has raised money for that. It's another one of those things that it is a good... Wargaming is a very sociable hobby. We don't just play little games. We have, for our 50th anniversary, we went for a proper meal. We went across to Belgium to Ypres for the anniversary on Remembrance Day, and also to wargame shows across in Belgium as well. So it's more of a social thing. It's not purely just tabletop. There's a lot more of the social side, and it's good to just celebrate those things, and I think keep societies and other organisations in the loop, because one of the first shout-outs, it's not just ourselves. There is another wargaming club in Shrewsbury called the Gatekeepers, who are at English Bridge Workshops, and they do more of the 40k sci-fi element of. We do a bit of that as well, but there's two good clubs in Shrewsbury, and it's just shouting out that we're both here, and if people want an alternative, if you played everybody, if I mention Warhammer to anybody, it's usually, especially from my sort of age group, 30, 40s downwards, somebody has played Warhammer or somebody played Warhammer at your school.
Yeah.
And there's always that sort of throwback link back into it. There's always somebody, Space Marines, that sort of thing.
Well, me and Julie get it. We're both immersive actors. We work at the prison. We encourage people to come and step into a game or an escape room and almost pretend to be a part of what it is and completely immerse themselves into that environment. So it's not too far a jump for us to say okay, you guys are going to set up like a 2-day campaign, and you guys are going to enjoy playing together for that long. It's not too far a jump for us to say it's not far away from what we do and what we encourage people to do. And that's quite nice for people, especially like you said, in today's climate, to spend time with your friends, do this campaign over a couple of days, have a few beers, order some nice food. That's actually quite cool, I think.
Yeah. How many people have you got in your particular society? So the Shrewsbury Wargames Society, how many members?
At the moment, we're just under 40 members.
Okay, is that just Shrewsbury based, or do you allow, if that's the right word, but people from outside of Shrewsbury to join?
Well, I'm just the other side of the Welsh border, which is why we're yes. But I'm Shrewsbury born and bred, but moved out this way more for work. But we've got members in Telford. We've even got members in America.
Oh, fab.
We've got a couple of members. Yeah, we have it's more that sort of sense that wargaming is such an international hobby that we've got friends who've joined the Facebook page, who've connected and want to be a part of what we do. But no, we've had members who currently in Norfolk, and we've got ones up in Scotland because they're bouncing around the country with bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But no, we all the way from Telford. We've got ones up towards Cheshire way. We've got a couple down towards Ludlow. We are all over the place.
Yeah,
we are spread, but yeah.
So
based in Shrewsbury?
Because obviously wargaming, because you can do it online as well, can't you? So you can sort of It's not like I do have the vision of obviously Warhammer the shop and seeing people sitting around a board, so to speak. But obviously by doing it online allows you to reach out further than the town, and equally probably works really well given the current climate.
Yes, well, at the moment we've got members who are shielding and members who are sort of not looking to attend the club at the moment. So they've been doing online Zoom calls, but also online board games. There are versions of, if you're into your PC gaming as well, there's things like the Total War series. That's very close to what wargaming is, and people have been playing that as well. I mean, I know you've had Nerdy on your podcast as well.
Yeah, Tom Matthews, he's great.
Yeah. And they do a bit of wargaming there, and that's another one of those things that you can do online. So there's been a whole rafter of, because we don't just do wargaming, we do bits of board gaming. We've had a few people doing RPGs and role-playing as well. So even though it's wargaming, we do a bit of everything. With the club being going 50 years, it's kind of, if somebody turns up to the club and wants to play a specific period, board game, genre, etc., there's usually somebody at the club going, oh, I've got that, I can do that with you. But yeah, no, in terms of you saying about your acting, yes, very much getting into that mindset, doing the research, it is very much that sort of thing.
I remember I went to see, it was Joel's Geek Out Southwest. They used to do like meetups at Monty's, and they play board games. It was just a safe place for people to go and play board games together. And as I was doing Thorskin and we did the superhero bar fight sort of games, they liked what we did, and they wanted us to judge some tournaments. It was like really cool to be asked to do that. But we were playing the board games, and there was a couple of like lads, blokes on the fruit machine whilst these guys were playing this game. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Magic, actually. I think it was Shane was playing Magic, and these guys were like, doing that thing. And I wasn't playing the game at the time. And I leaned into him and was like, look, get off your chaff high horse and just look. Here are the rules. And this is what's happening. Just imagine, just watch. And they genuinely, they got into it. Shane will tell you the same story, okay? Have you had those situations where, like, has come into your games or to experience what you guys are doing and actually really enjoyed it?
Oh, very much so. We're very fortunate that as a club, we don't just sort of play games in our clubhouse. We've actually done stuff in the town for Heritage Open Day. So we regularly go up to Shrewsbury Castle and put on displays there, where we are meeting members of the general public. But the Battle of Shrewsbury event last year, that happened for the first time. We were there and we put on the display. We were asked to put on the display for the Battle of Shrewsbury. And one of the nicest things with that in terms of, I mean, on the one point of people... what's the right way to put this? People are curious and then actually turn around and go, oh, okay, that's it, because it's their own history. And I think that when we've interacted in terms of public events, because it's in Shrewsbury, you're actually saying to them, this is what we do, this is how we do it, it becomes a lot more real for them. The nicest thing, though, the Battle of Shrewsbury is we also don't just put on the game. We do painting for kids. So we got a big bag of old plastic models, some cheap paints from the range and some cheap brushes, and paint a figure. Did it for free because we've got a fair bit of old plastic that just needed a good home, and that was enough. They could paint a figure, take it away. But one of the nicest moments always stands out for me is one of the kids painted one of the figures and put it on the table next to Hotspur's Archer line. I went, Mum, look, my figure's on the table. And that was a real brilliant moment. And we had because myself having dyspraxia and other bits and pieces with it was, a mother came up to us and said, my child's got XYZ, and this is the first time he's sat still for an hour.
Wow.
Concentrating on something and doing something. And she said, she's going to go off. We sent her some information and bits and pieces, and she's gone off, and the kids actually got paints, got figures, and has taken up the hobby as a way of dealing with, again, XYZ. It's wargaming, as I say, it's that social side. There's the history, there's the research, but there's also that real sense of, we try and make it a community thing. We try and not just do Shrewsbury history. It is something that there is just more to the period, to the hobby, than just rolling dice.
I'm a big fan of the Total War games. I love Total War. I think it's amazing. I'm a bit of a nerd. And it's a turn-based strategy game, but it's based around wars. They do different wars and campaigns. So they did World War II. They've done Napoleon. So you play this game. But what I found myself doing when I play this game is you're making equations. You take a turn and you've got so much information to look at, because you deal with politics, you deal with money, you deal with what you can buy, what you can build, where you can move places to, how you can invade different countries. There's all this information going through your head that any sort of problems you've got in your life can just disappear for however long you're playing this for, because this game doesn't end until you've invaded the whole country, or so many countries, So you could be playing this game for literally weeks, right? And while you're taking your turn, there's so much information going through that everything disappears. And I guess for somebody that's got Asperger's or ADHD or something that's really bothering them, while they're playing this game, they can be a completely different person, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. There is that pure escapism. And actually, it's a bit of a... When I come home from work, and obviously work's not the most stressful thing, but at the moment I think for everybody it must be. You come home, you can research, you're saying about the politics of the army. One of the armies I'm doing at the moment is the Portuguese army, the 7 Years' War, which started the war crippled financially, so you've got to build your army around those limitations, research. When you paint the figures, you've got to be aware that some bits of XYZ, all that goes into when you actually then play the game. And when you do play the game, and as you say, do longer campaign games, you work around those limitations, those strategies. But that's the other joy about the Total War games. You can create your own what-ifs. So you can, as you say about Total War Empire, you can have a French army suddenly go and invade, Northern America, just for the hell of it. And again, you can have those what-ifs. It is quite fun. It is pure escapism. And it's a real enjoyment to have. I mean, I worked at the Regimental Regimental Museum for a bit as well, and that was a real sort of part of that escapism.
I keep saying these things in the biscuit that I'm going to do, and I don't really hold my end of the bargain all the time, because they're just things that I would like to do, but I don't necessarily have the time to do it. But I would love it if me and Shane, or one of you guys, could come and actually do something with you guys, because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd be really interested in something. It's never something.
Perfect.
I mean, I suppose that my question is, which would be related around this, is there an age range that does this, and is it mainly men or women, boys, girls? How does it work?
In terms of age range, we personally, as a club, have a 14 upwards, but all are welcome. Other clubs tend to be mostly around that. If you're of a younger age, you tend to go to places like Warhammer, where it's the shop manager will teach you through and go through it. But in terms of actual gaming, I mean, I started properly when I was 12, because my dad was into wargaming anyway. In terms of male-female, it is probably, It's a bit more of a male hobby, but that's not to say there's no women in there at all. And actually, it was interesting, the latest Great Wargaming survey that Wargames Illustrated. There's whole magazines and things about this as well put out. It's actually about a 35-65 ratio, and it's growing every year. And one of the nicest things actually is there's a company called Bad Squiggo Games in Nottingham who is specifically making believable female miniatures and promoting, and they started about 5-6 years ago, probably longer. And that influence on the hobby has become more and more female friendly. I mean, when we try and do battles, we always try and make sure there's female figures on the table. We did a display at Allenwell, which for Wargamers is like our major wargaming show convention towards Wolverhampton. And we did one game, and people have made Elsa and Anna figures from Frozen. And we put and we all, yes, the look on your face, it says it all. But we always try and make sure that there's animals on the table, things like that on the table. Because when you go to wargame shows, there's usually the dad. He's dragged along the kids for the day to take them out the mum's hair. And it's wonderful that it is a family event. And more that you're getting, there are a lot more female gamers. There are a lot more people. I mean, if you more on the 40k side, there are quite a few in historical as well. But yeah, it's a hobby open to everybody. And we try and make it as inclusive as possible, as welcoming as possible. I mean, I can't think of any club or society that doesn't, to be fair. I think they'd be idiotic not to, but it is more becoming.
Yeah. So if, say, like somebody wanted to get involved and do it, is there any setup costs? Is there a certain platform you need to use to be able to do this online? Because obviously I know with some computers, when you go into, a shop and you're asking about a new laptop, they sort of say, do you want to do gaming with it, or do you just want it for emails, etc.? So I'm guessing there probably is a technical element that a certain computer laptop has to have.
If you were doing things like Hearts of Iron 4, there's obviously that side of it. But for our side of it, which is in person, so this is all sort of tabletop, 1-to-1, 2-to-2 sort of gaming. Games. In terms of a setup, so in terms of a setup cost, it's as little as much as you want to do with it. Let's say that most people start off with going to Warhammer, the shop in Shrewsbury, for example, or eBay is a very good source, or there's actually proper retailers, North Star Miniatures, Wargames Foundry, Warlord Games are a very good one if you're looking.
You mentioned Think Tank.
Think Tank up here, yes.
In the trade.
They do some wonderful models.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nicely. They've put up our posters. Quick shout out to e-commerce games in Shrewsbury, put up a poster for us. They are at the top of the market. Salopian Gamers, which is a railway modelling, but for our side does a lot of modelling. They put up posters as well. Even Warhammer put a poster up for us, so that's very kind.
So when you just said the top of the market hall, because I work in the market hall on Saturday afternoons, and I'm thinking, they're completely diagonally from me, but they're next to the buffet, aren't they? I know exactly who you mean now. But we'll actually have a look there now.
Yeah, but they do board games, but they do some bits of modelling and things. There's some very good shops in Shrewsbury. Not all specifically wargaming, but there's bits that I think from any point of view are just good to support. Again, we talk about the impact on societies and clubs and mental health, but it's a tough time for businesses as well. And we've been trying to push and support our local shops and say to people, hey, you may not be from Shrewsbury, maybe from Telford, but if you're popping over for the day, these are places that I think that should be supported. But in terms of startup costs, I mean, we've just had a new member come starting some 40k, and they've got 60 figures for about £30.
Oh, right. Okay. So not.
Yeah, it's actually quite.
Not to scale. No, you don't need 100,000 people if you're going to do Waterloo. You don't need, you actually need 100,000 Germans.
Oh. Well, we tend to do. I dread to think how many figures I've got in my 7 Years' War army, but that's been a labour of love over a lot of years. So it's when I had this conversation in work, because I mentioned I was going on the podcast in work yesterday, and they said, "So what's your biggest army?" And I said, "Well, it's probably the 7 Years' War, and those are 32 figure regiments in 28 mil. I've probably got over 1,000 figures of those, but that's just scary."
Wow.
Yes, I know. But then those are the different ends of the scale.
But this is your passion, right?
This is your of it.
This is your passion, and I've spoken to Joel Smith, who is he is a dungeon master. he makes money out of creating campaigns.
He's been along to the club actually.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's a great guy. He really is. He's very, very inclusive for people.
Yeah, he is. He is.
And he makes a living, or he makes money out of, creating campaigns. And people that have never played Dungeons and Dragons before, he will make campaigns. Is that what you do as well? Is that what you kind of offer? Can you bring in a load of novices, noobs, and create like a great campaign to try and catch them?
Yeah, what we try and do is, wargaming, you can play with 1,000 figures if you're really being maniacal. But you can the joy about wargaming is, you never need more than 40 figures. So if you if you went to Warlord Games, for instance, and wanted to play World War II and wanted a box of British, if you were doing Second Kerslite, Sword Beach, and their action on D-Day, you could buy one box of figures for £20. That's your entire collection that you need, and you can play a game with those. And when we have new people come along, we provide figures. There's plenty of terrain. Everything is provided, and it's really just to dip your feet in, see what you like, see what you want to do, what period of history. We have a lot of people who have either studied or have always had a pet, like yourself. You've played Total War games. If you've really liked Total War Medieval 2, and you said
I haven't played that one.
Well, okay. But use that example, and you really want to play War of the Roses. You can buy 2 boxes of War of the Roses, £30, and you've got your entire army. And that's the thing. It's the ability to play as much as you want, to do as much as you want with the hobby, and it is a passion, but it's one that you get a lot out of. And as I say, to me, it's also more the social side. The Prince of Wales is probably our second home, which is quite nice.
Great pub.
More the fact that, and it's that social side of it. It's the conversation. It's friendship, wargaming. It's the joy of the history and the study of the subject. There's a lot to every single aspect of it, and we're very fortunate that there's a couple of wargaming clubs in Shrewsbury, Pirates of the Dread Seas by Rich Chappell, and he's a member of our club. So we've actually got figure manufacturing companies in Shrewsbury, which we do stuff with and play test rules. And
nice.
It's a really good thing to sort of, if you're interested in coming along.
Now, sorry, we lost connection for a second there. Is he still there? He's still there, Tom?
Yes. Yeah,
we lost your visual. Okay, so obviously we're not in lockdown at the moment, but things are difficult at the moment, obviously with the pandemic. Do you have videos, or do you know a place for people to go to see like YouTube videos, tuition? Sort of how do people learn how to play this? What's a good channel for them to follow?
There's a lot. So if you go onto YouTube and type in how to play Warhammer, how to paint figures, I mean, there's one, again, I'm giving you a lot of shout outs out. Hobby Time at Healy's.
Yes.
He's on Discord. He's a YouTuber as well. He's on Twitch streams mostly, but he's another local painter, and he's actually very good. He's worth following, but there's a whole range. I mean, as much as I would say is possible, try going on to YouTube, searching how to play games. You can learn everything there. We've managed actually to keep our clubhouse open once all the restrictions were lifted, and we've gone through all the processes of having the risk assessments and being COVID safe and secure. And we've been very fortunate in being able to play at our own clubhouse. So we've been able to keep it safe, secure, like Nerdy do for their own. It's been really good, actually. As I say, it's that, I'd probably keep pressing the point, but it's that social. At the moment, I think mental health is a big problem, and it's any club, any society, men, women, whoever. It's really being able to do things that help with that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. Okay, so tell people where they can find you and get into, and do you encourage people to get in touch with you if they've never done this before?
Yes.
And they're like, how? Tell me, teach me. Where do we meet? Where do people get in touch with you to do that?
Perfect. Well, the best thing to do is find us on Facebook. We are Shrewsbury Wargames Society on Facebook. It's SWS Public, or if you look for the URL. We've got posters around the town. And once you go onto the Facebook page, drop us a like. If you're interested in joining us, send us a message, and we'll get in contact with you. You can be any age from 14 upwards, male, female. We'd love to have you, any experience level, whether you've played before, played at school, coming back to the hobby, moved into the area, looking to pick it up. We play all sort of periods, historical-wise, but 40k as well. I'm trying to get to grips with 9th edition, which is fun, but we play 40k, all the specialist games as well, Blood Bowl, Necromunda. Some of these words may not make sense to you, but if you're interested into wargaming in any way, please come along and see us. Come and see us at Heritage Open Day, which we're doing next year, which we'll be doing about the Shropshire Yeomanry and the Africa campaign in World War II. But we'll also be at Shrewsbury, Battle of Shrewsbury event for 1403 in July next year as well. So plenty of ways to find us, but give us a follow, give us a like, drop us a message, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you into the club.
Well, Tom, I think you're awesome. You remind me of me, and it's really crazy because, like, I'm a bit.
No.
I was a bit of a social chameleon in school. You know, I really was like, I was a bit of a nerd, and I love things like Final Fantasy, and I like my heavy metal, and I like my football, and I like the things that everybody else sort of liked. So I could kind of like, I could speak to the popular kids about how United are doing and what have you. Then I can go and speak about Linkin Park over here, and you know, I'd understand sort of Pokemon and stuff going on over there, like, you know. So yeah, I think you are a prime example of how someone can take a little bit out of society and enjoy multiple different things. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get polarized with their hobbies, with what they do, and here you are going to the match with the guys, and then enjoying war games, which is amazing. I think you're brilliant, and I think everybody should take a leaf out of your book, Tom.
Oh, perfect. Well, that's very kind. But as I say, it's more that sort of sense that at the moment, mental health societies. Yeah, there's a bit of the nerdiness with it as well, but no,
I embrace the nerdiness. I say that. That's what I do.
Yeah,
you know,
lots of people like going in nerdy calf.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
every description.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
embrace it.
But no,
I think it's great. I lost my train of thought then. I wasn't even going to say that. I don't know why I said that, but I think it's a good compliment to say that you do offer something for especially people that the introverts out there that don't really go out, and there's a nice, warm, welcoming place here for you to go and enjoy war games if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you want to come along and say hello to us, you're more than welcome at club. But hopefully we catch you at either 1403 if you go up there to do a podcast, or at the Heritage Open Day. Fantastic.
You're awesome. I love you. Okay, I'd love to give people a chance to listen to... oh, God, my head has just gone crazy. Guys, go to our website and check out our website, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. That is made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. Pete White is the G when it comes to making podcasts, so make sure you check them out. If you need a website. This has been recorded at the Parade Shops, hasn't it, today, which is weird for a Zoom call, but it has. We've got our open studios today. The Parade Shops is just behind St. Mary's, and you can come here and you can check out Think Tank, which has got great models. There's also Splat and Splodge if you want to bring the kids during half term to paint some pottery. There's a Riverview Cafe here with one of the most spectacular views of Shrewsbury while you sat out there. It's amazing.
There's very nice mushrooms on toast.
I had the rare bit from there. And I'm thinking, and I'm very particular about cheese on toast, because cheese and toast, I make the best cheese and toast on the planet, hands down. It doesn't matter. So every cheese and toast is competition for me. And it was really good. So I've got to say.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say a special thank you to Chris Goff from CGR Financial Solutions, who's helping us turn our little show into a CIC. I am not very good at business, but he is. And if you need any information on business, make sure you check out CGR Business Solutions. Tom, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem. As I say, check out the Facebook page. And if you're interested in coming along, we'd love to see you.
I would love I'm going to bring the biscuiteers round. We're going to, I really am interested.
And 1403, as in you mean the battlefield?
Battlefield, yeah. It's the Battle of Shrewsbury.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But it's actually, it's lovely to wargame on the actual site of the battlefield. It was actually quite a privilege.
Oh, fantastic. Right, guys, this has been amazing. Thank you very much. And we'll catch you next time. Peace out.